The Australian aid program has a responsibility to safeguard people and their environment. DFAT's Environment Protection Policy articulates this responsibility and provides a framework for sustainable development.
I launched the policy in November 2014, and the purpose of it is to ensure that everything we do under the Australian aid program, Development Assistance Program, protects the environment and puts economic growth on a long-term sustainable basis. The reasons behind the policy are both a set of legal obligations that Australia has and a set of policy objectives that we have. The legal obligations divide up into three components. Firstly, we have a requirement under our own domestic Australian legislation to uphold environmental principles and practices under our Environment Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act. Secondly, the partner countries with which we work have a legal framework for environmental protection, and obviously we want to fully respect those. And thirdly, Australia is a party to a number of international agreements that relate to the protection of the environment, and consistent with us being good international citizens, we want to make sure that we are abiding by our international legal obligations. The policy applies to everything we do in our development assistance programs. It doesn't have a monetary threshold to it. We want to ensure that in everything we do in our aid program, we uphold the principles and values behind environmental protection and a sustainable environment. And we want to do that not just for what we do, but we want to make sure that when we're working with our partners, those principles also apply. You cannot have sustainable economic growth unless you have growth that also protects the environment.
The policy is based on 6 principles that outline our legal obligations to protect the environment and how we will comply with them. These principles are consistent with our international partners, which means practitioners can better manage the environmental risk, and we can work closely together, including in co-financed activities.
The 6 principles are: first, do no harm to the environment, including natural habitats, the health and safety of people. It also means controlling pollution and conserving heritage. Second, ensure environmental risks are identified early in project life, and any identified risks and impacts are managed appropriately. Third, disclose information transparently and in an accessible form and language. Fourth, conduct meaningful consultations with any affected parties. In addition, provide a way to receive and address concerns on projects' environmental performance. Fifth, comply with the laws and regulations of partner countries on the environment and help strengthen their environmental safeguard frameworks. And sixth, where appropriate, promote the use of resource-efficient options for water and energy and other resources. All DFAT aid management staff and delivery partners will apply the 6 principles to Australia's aid investments.
This new policy sets out more clearly and sharply DFAT's responsibilities and partners' responsibilities. All aid investments, regardless of size or sector, must be screened for potential environmental risk. Those activities which have a medium or high risk need further analysis to ensure they meet and comply with legal obligations. We've prepared a training program for staff and for international partners. Guidance on implementation of the policy is available online through operational procedures and good practice notes. We've also set up a help desk that staff can refer to should they have any further questions.
To give us an appreciation of how the policy applies, we will hear from one of our program managers in Indonesia, where DFAT is partnering with Palembang City Government to build a wastewater treatment facility. This project will apply the policy throughout planning, design and implementation.
I am managing the design of an infrastructure project that will need to undertake many of the environment processes outlined in the operational procedures. Providing clear definitions of environmental risks and impacts as low, medium or high allows program managers with very little environment experience to start preparing design timeframes and manage the expectations of our implementing partners. From a manager's perspective, I have found the environment protection principles and good practice notes very useful.
The policy and its guidelines are available on the DFAT website. If you have any questions, you can call the help desk. DFAT employees and partners are all responsible for implementing this environmental protection policy. Applying the policy will help achieve the best environmental outcomes for Australian aid and promote sustainable growth in our region.